Okay, so first things first, Gokul has attached a link to Google Drive. So this contains a memo, a partial memo. What we're going to do is, I'd request you guys to download it, and while I format a memo on my computer, I'd request you guys to sort of run along with me and format the memo on your systems as well. Okay.
I mean, just to check right now, has everyone downloaded the memos? Just like raise your hands or write yes in your chat box, that will suffice. Or is there anyone who is still yet to receive the link? I mean, they joined it later. Just tell us right now.
Also, can you guys see that I'm presenting the screen right now? Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, Jaggi, it's visible.
Okay. So we have two memos here. Uh, cool. So this is the one that has been formatted. I don't know who submitted this, but we'll be attempting to format uh, this memo to look accurate. So as you can see here, right about now, I have
We're
uh,
requesting to wait for a minute. I mean, they're still
okay,
downloading the memo.
okay.
I think if and everyone has opened the drive, they opened the memo. So can we start the session right now? Then just any one of you write yes. Vinay, Sanskar, you all told us to like wait. Yeah.
Sanskar
Jaggi,
said
let's start, I
yes.
think.
Uh, okay. So, where to begin? Okay, so just a second. Let me update my cursor so that it's easier to see. Uh, okay. So, yeah, let's start with this area. So this area particularly is called the styles area. Now, what it helps you with is define certain character styles or paragraph styles that you can easily switch into. For example, this arguments advanced is currently heading one, and just like so, you can update it as well. So, for example, if I decide to increase the size to let's say Times New Roman 16 and right click here and click on update heading 1 to math selection. Now everything that is marked as heading 1, for example, okay, don't have things marked as heading 1. So for example, this particular word prayer, if I now click on heading 1, it is Times New Roman 16. Just a sound check, you guys can hear me, right? Uh,
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
okay, cool. So continuing on, so this is the styles panel, and as I mentioned earlier, you use it to define styles. And so for example, summary of arguments, as you guys remember, I did not touch it, but now as you can see, it is Times New Roman 16. So that's how the styles panel works. You can define, just like here, heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, and certain other styles as well, depending on the particular workflow. Now, Next, I'd like to talk about this particular guy right here. So while formatting a memo, this this thing is your best friend. So what it does is it enables the hidden characters, and it will help you in visualizing whether a particular sentence, for example, here ends with an enter, or for example here a section break or a page break. Before we move on, I'd like to talk about the difference between page break and a section break. Page break, as the name suggests, marks the ending of a page. So, for example, you finish, let's say I want this next sub issue to start on a new page. I will not repeatedly mash enter uh, to make it appear on the next page. What I'll do is just press Control plus enter to insert a page break, and just like that, the sub issue is on the next page. Let's undo that right now because we don't want that. And now the reason you don't want repeatedly mashing the enter key is because while making a memo, once you've made sure that the sub issue starts on the next page, you might add more content to the previous page. And let me just show you. So if I do this, now every time that I enter a line, it will mess the formatting. See, now this empty line appears. This is why you don't want to repeatedly press enter. You just press control and enter. And if you forget the shortcut, you can get it from layout, breaks, and this page break. All right, moving on. The next thing is section break. Now, section break differs from the page break in the sense that it quite literally it demarcates two sections of the page. Why it might be useful to you is, for example, okay, let's get rid of this page break first. Yeah. So for example, arguments advanced start from here, and the previous page is summary of arguments. This particular area right here, though it's not visible here what it is, but it will be a section break. Why? Because section break allows you to have different headers and footers. So for example, if I enter here summary of arguments. Now if you just have a page break here, the fact that summary of arguments is written here would affect the header here. So if it weren't a section break, the arguments advanced, this header would change and would be identical to this. Let me just show you. So right now there is a page break, and see, so summary of arguments change to arguments advanced, but whenever you need to change headers, whenever you want to have unique headers, you need to insert a section break and then delink it. Let me just show you how. So for example, I just delete this page break, insert a section break from here. I went to layout, breaks, and next page. Section break, next page. So just like that. And now what I need to do is click on the header, go to header and footer tools, and delink this. So now when I change this, okay, I'll change the other one. So now when I change this, this stays the same. And that's how you create two different sections, and the only way to have unique headers and footers as well. Also, while we're on the subject, you have to delink the header and footer separately. So considering in this particular memo, the footer only contains written submissions on behalf of the petitioner, we will not delink it so as to prevent the hassle of having to type it again and again. Now, the next thing would be...
Just a quick question. Does everyone like need to reiterate this again, or is everyone following us right now? Where whatever, I mean, I expect that all of you are trying on your laptops. So like, is it comprehensive to you all? I mean, comprehensible to you all, or should we actually repeat something or some other point? All right, Branda. Anyone else? I mean, anyone has any doubt at this point of time, they can actually raise it because then it will get confusing and confusing.
How to delete
Jackie, there's a
extra
doubt.
page or section
Yeah.
break? Okay, so let me insert another section break over here. So as you can see right now, it doesn't do anything because the section break and page break do not interfere with each other. However, if I had two page breaks here, now I have a whole empty page, but I don't see how this could be an issue. As long as you have this enabled, this particular thing, the shortcut to which is Control plus asterisk, and if that does not work, Control Shift and 8 on your keyboard. So just like that, you can delete it, and that's how you get rid of extra page breaks or section breaks. Is that cool? Moving on. Let's now try to format the memo and talk about anything that arises when it arises. So for example, arguments advance has been given to that. Now comes the numbering. So the paragraph panel here contains the lists, and the kind of list we'll be using today is, okay, Akhil Raj has a question. When we copy directly from internet page break automatically comes with it. Just delete it manually. That won't be a problem. Also, with regard to Akhil's question, you can just remove it. And secondly, whenever you paste something from the internet, okay, let's just do that. What can we do? Okay. So for example, I copy this word. No, that. Okay, so it's not showing right now, but whenever you copy a paragraph from the internet or any other document per se, there is an option for paste options. So just like here, and you can set the default paste here to here, keep text only. Now, if you select this, what will happen is whenever you copy a paragraph or any sort of text from any other document, it will retain the text, but it will take on the formatting of the preceding paragraph or normally the normal style as it appears in the styles window. I hope that answers your question, Akhil. Okay, so now speaking of headings, so this is the main issue, and we'll be creating a list. Now, because we're going to use 1.1, that sort of list, you need to click on the multi-level list and select this. So this is one. I'm not going to, because this is the description of issue, I'm not going to do anything to it. Again, click here. Now, sometimes this might happen. So what you're going to do is, okay, let me be slow here. What you're going to do is click on the number, then right click, then adjust list indents. And then click on the second one because it corresponds to 1.1. And sometimes that doesn't work. So when that happens, because Word sometimes messes it up, so what you're going to do is manually enter 1.1, and then it will take on the form of the list. And with the rulers, you can just adjust it. Now, okay, so as you can see here, it is the font is Calibri, the size is 11, and it is not even left aligned. So this opens a opportunity to talk about a good feature called the Format Painter. Now, what it does,
Karthik, I think it got stopped presenting. Can you like start it again?
okay, it
We're not
shows
able
that.
to see your screen.
Just a second.
Guys, respond if something like that happens. I mean,
Akhil says it's visible.
it was not to me.
Okay, it's visible, right?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, so Everybody followed up till this 1.1? Okay. So as I was saying, this is the opportunity to talk about a feature called the format painter. Now what it does is it will copy the formatting of one particular paragraph and paste it onto something else. So for example, what we're going to do here is I'll make it Times New Roman size 12 justified. Okay. Now I'm going to engage the format painter, and just like that, it becomes Times New Roman size 12 justified. So when you have a lot of paragraphs that you have to format, what you're going to do is instead of going to every paragraph and making sure that it fits the specification, you're going to use Format Painter to copy and paste the formatting. The shortcut to accessing Format Painter is Control plus Shift plus C. It does not highlight it, but see here, Control Shift C, Control Shift V. So if I select this paragraph, press Control Shift C on my keyboard, select this paragraph, press Control Shift V on this keyboard. Just like that, it pastes the formatting, and everything here is now Times New Roman size 12 justified. Okay. Now, so next, I'm gonna try and make the arguments here of the sub issue 1.1 in a list. So we're gonna make it 1.1.1. Press tab, adjust the lining here. Guys, is it okay if I revert to the previous cursor? This is giving me some issues. Were you guys able to see the previous cursor without any issues? Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so I'm gonna adjust its placing. There we go. Now, so as you can see, I manually entered this 1.1.1. Now to prevent myself from going through that hassle again and again, what I'm gonna do is I'll delete. So this becomes one whole paragraph, and now I'll just press enter. And just like that, 1.1.2 appears on the screen. Again, 1.1.3. And I'm going to do that multiple times. Any doubts so far with me, everybody? Okay, so once again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to manually enter 1.2, and just like that. So one issue that I might say with Word is that it does not remember the placing of the different paragraphs. So that you manually have to ensure that. So for example, 1.1 lies here, then you have to manually ensure that 1.2 corresponds to the same heading as well. Like that, we're going to make sure. This is one thing that you have to manually do every time, but I don't think that's much of an issue. Again, so again, this is Calibri size 11. So I'm going to change it, this one manually, justified. Also check the line spacing. On the previous one, we forgot to check the line spacing. So just to do that, we're going to select all of it at once and we can change it. No big deal. Okay, so this is Times New Roman size 12. I'm going to use Format Painter, Control Shift C, Control Shift V. Okay. Continuing on, I'll manually enter 1.2.1, press tab, so it recognizes that it has to make a list, and then you can just manually through these rulers make it correspond to the correct margin. I'm not going to waste any more time doing that. So from now on, we'll just make sure that everything is in list. Manually enter 1.2.2. Okay, not manually enter. Okay, another issue. Sometimes it just, because word being word, it will not recognize that you're trying to make it into a list like that. So again, you might have to sometimes enter it manually, but that's just the way word is. Okay. Okay, now this should be 1.3. It's like that. It becomes 1.3. Vrunda is asking the ruler really messes up sometimes. Do you have a good trick to do it? Unfortunately, no, because as I said earlier, Word is just like that. Sometimes it gives you issues, and I know it can get on your nerves, but it is what it is.
I think Karthik, I have one trick here with respect to the ruler.
Sure, sure, go ahead.
Whenever you go to the where the to the top right of your word screen, the arguments, footnotes, normal, no spacing there,
Mm-hmm.
little bit below to the right.
Okay, यहाँ
Yeah,
पे,
yeah.
okay.
So whenever you go there, just click on number the no spacing one,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and auto match to selection. Update to
Okay,
yeah, do this.
update.
Yeah, yeah. So now whenever to whatever para you want to,
Mm-hmm.
just go to that para rather than going to format painter or anything. You can actually now click on any para and just click on that. That's it. Your
Okay,
ruler also won't mess up.
okay. Thanks for the tip. So, Vrunda, there's your answer. Moving on. For some
सर
reason, it
आई
is
हैव अ
not
डाउट.
recognized. Yeah.
सर हम लोग कई बार जब जस्टिफाइड यूज करते हैं तो फिर
Mm-hmm.
किसी लाइन पे अनइक्वल स्पेसेस आ जाते हैं. मतलब मैं आपको इसमें शो करूंगा तो फिर शायद दिखेगा.
एक second. So, for example, I know what you're talking about. Where do you go?
Akhil, there is there. I mean,
हाँ सर, हाँ सर.
So I know what you're talking about. So sometimes what happens is it does not recognize that the sentence is supposed to end. So because this is a formatted memo that I unformatted, we might not run into that issue. But then all you have to do is press enter, maybe backspace that particular enter once or twice, and that should resolve your issue. Otherwise, if we run into that specific issue here while formatting this memo, I'll be able to show it to you.
तो
But
ये ऐसा कुछ दिखता है, मतलब मैं दिखा रहा हूँ अब इसमें ऐसा टाइप का
uh,
जैसे स्पेसेस आ जाते हैं.
so that is particular problem that you cannot solve because justified की वो problem ही है. It tries to increase the spacing or decrease the spacing to fit the words in a particular grid, and sometimes it's not possible. But so whenever it happens at the end of the sentence, like here, if it happens, you can just press enter and it should resolve the issue. If it happens in the middle, then you're out of remedy. That's just how justified is.
ओके.
Okay, so we messed up the footnotes a bit. Okay. Let me just, okay, okay. So what's next? Okay, so I don't think I need to show this part, the formatting one this whole 1.2 point issue. Shall we move on to anything other than this? Is that okay, guys? Okay. Okay. So, hmm, what's next? Ah, so let's now deal with footnotes. So, as you might probably know, this is a footnote, and to insert a footnote, the shortcut is Control plus Alt plus F. Let me just write that down in the chat box. And to insert it manually, what you can do is, uh, yeah, go to references. For example, I want to insert a footnote after protected. Take my cursor there, click on insert footnote, and there you go. There's a footnote. Now, so that's what a footnote is. But the more important thing is the index of authorities, right about here. So whenever you mark a footnote, it does not necessarily mean that it's a citation. What's the difference here is, what I'm trying to say here is, you see this particular code here, this particular code. This represents that this particular footnote has been marked as a citation, and it will show up in the insert in the table of authorities once you click it. What that means is, for example, I had this. Yeah. So, like here, this particular case, footnote number 10, Babita Prasad versus State of Bihar. So this does not have this such similar code right next to it. What this means is this has not been marked as a citation. That is, it won't show up when you click Insert Table of Authorities. Now, if you don't have this enabled, you won't be able to tell whether or not a particular thing has been marked as citation. And that is why I was saying in the beginning, this guy is your best friend while formatting a memo. So moving on, given that this hasn't been marked as a citation, what we're going to do is go to references, click on mark citation, the shortcut to which is Alt Shift I. Also guys, since this is a PC, we have Control and Alt. Most of the shortcuts would be same on Mac as well. Only the corresponding keys would be Command for Control and Option for Alt. Okay, so moving on. Now we just click here, Alt Shift I. Now, the next thing here to notice is this, the category. So for example, this is a case, no doubt. So we're going to mark it as case. But let's see. So for example, you come into, okay, let's just take an example of this. Suppose this particular footnote, instead of being a case, it was something else. Let's say an international treaty. So there you go. You click on treaties. Now, or constitutional provision or whatever. Now the main thing here is, suppose for example, sometime you're citing something that does not appear here as a category. For example, it's a newspaper report. So what you do is, you see these empty 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What you will do is click on 8, click on category. Here 8 is selected, replace it with, let's say, newspaper report. Okay, so you have to click on replace as well. Sorry, newspaper report. You click replace, and just like that, you have a newspaper report category as well. So it will show up when you insert the footnote. Sorry, the table of authorities. Okay. So right about now, we're just going to mark it in the correct category, that is cases. And whenever you mark a footnote, Word will automatically enable this whether or not you had it initially or not. So for example, let me just show you. Here I have disabled the hidden characters panel, And as soon as I click on mark, this whole thing shows up again. Okay, so so far there are all these citations have been marked. Okay, so this is a good example. So I mentioned that category, right? So I know you normally would not mark it as a citation to appear in the index of authorities, but for the sake of this class, we would replace 9 with principles of natural justice. And in the end, when we'll then select principle of natural justice, mark, close. In the end, when we will insert the table of authorities, you'll notice that this particular category, C9, which we've replaced with principle of natural justice, shows up. Okay, so what's next? Okay, so we have prayer here, and okay, so now the important part is that you make sure that you mention. Okay, I'm gonna delete this authority first. Huh. So as I was saying, the important thing is that you mark these as headings and the issues as headings, because when you insert a table of authority, a table of contents that we're going to do right about now. So just like that, I inserted a page break. Now you go to layout, no, sorry, references, click on table of contents, and it doesn't matter whatever style you choose. So just like that, table of content appears. Now, the thing is that we want to make this look like a heading. But if I click on heading 1 to make it look like a heading, first of all, it doesn't. And when I update the table, if I make it as heading 1 and it changes and I update the table, it will appear as a particular heading on the table. So again, to deal with this, the format painter comes to our rescue. What we're going to do is select this, engage the format painter by Control Shift C, select this back, and then if it may not work, you have no other choice but to manually make it look like the statement of jurisdiction. Now I'm not sure whether it's required or not, but it just looks good. So I normally, when I'm appearing in a mood, I do it. I'm not gonna waste the time here doing that. Next thing would be uh, okay. So before we actually insert the index of authorities, here there is a page break, but because I want to create a header where I can write index of authorities, I'm gonna delete that and insert a section break. Okay, so if you don't want to use the mouse again and again, if you press Alt on your keyboard, it will show you how to engage the particular option. So for example, to insert that section break, all I did was press Alt on my keyboard, press P because it corresponds to layout, press B and N. Anyhow, you don't need to do that. It's just something that you catch on while doing a lot of formatting. Then coming back, I wanted to insert a header here talking which stated that it's the index of authorities. So I've already inserted the section break. Now all I need to do is go here, make sure that link to previous is disabled, because if it isn't, index of authorities will show up here as well. Now if I write index of authorities, it does not affect this. And here also, because there is a section break here. We can just go ahead and write down table of contents, and it will not affect the first page. Nothing shows up here. That's what we wanted. Now, okay, so let's make it heading 1. Insert the table of authorities, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Just like that, insert table of authorities. So there you go. See, principles of natural justice, Ode Aldrum Parton appears here. And that's how you create any category that did not exist. Okay. Jyoti asks how to remove a marked citation. So you remember the code that I showed you, the code that appeared right next to the footnote. So, for example, if I decided to remove this Durayu versus State of Uttar Pradesh, all I have to do is remove this particular code. And now when I update my table of authorities, this particular case should ideally vanish. So I'm gonna let's try this. See, that case we removed Duryu, whatever it was, is nowhere to be found on the index of authorities now. I hope that answers your question, Jyoti. Okay, so next is so you have to, while formatting a memo, you have to ensure that you use section breaks and page breaks correctly. Otherwise, the header and footer would get messed up. So again, because there is a section break here, I can just click on here, and as it is, the link to previous is already unchecked. I'll just write down statement of jurisdiction, and it should not affect the header on the previous page, and it doesn't. Shitanshu, repeat what? Can you please elaborate? What do you want me to repeat? Okay. So the question was how to remove a marked citation. It's very simple. Now we're going to remove this one. So this particular code I mentioned earlier, this is the code that lets you know whether a particular footnote has been marked as a citation or not. And if you remove this particular code by pressing backspace on it once, it will remove that citation. So now if I update the index of authorities, the state of Odisha versus Ramchandra Dev, this case should not show up anymore. To prove it, we're just gonna see, here is state of Odisha versus Ramchandra Dev. We're gonna delete the index of authorities, reinsert it, and it should be gone. State of Odisha versus Ramchandra Dev is nowhere to be found here. Chitanshu, cool? Okay. So moving on, I was talking about the importance of inserting correct break. So it's not fatal to your memo, but it will prevent you a lot of hassle while working on a submission. And I know that formatting is the last thing that people do, sometimes very close to a deadline. So you want as little headache as possible. So as I mentioned earlier, page break is nothing but marking the end of a page. It's just that. Section break helps you create different sections in your document so that you can have unique headers and footers. Now, why that might be important to you is, for example, here, in a lot of memos, people like to have different page numbering for different kinds of pages. And what I mean by that is people will have this Roman numeral pages for all the pages except for the arguments advanced. And then on arguments advanced, they'll have such normal numbering. Now, how you go about doing that is through section breaks. Make sure that before arguments advanced, there is a section break. Okay, so now this will allow you to, just like have a unique header, it will allow you to have unique page numbers as well. So for example, let's start from the top. We'll leave this page, cover page, unnumbered. Now we go to table of contents. You Once you double click on the header, it will show this menu. You click on page number, top of page, you select the style you want. I'm gonna go with plain page number 3. Now what it does is it just enters this 2. Also it did away with the header, table of contents, so we're just gonna re-enter that. So it just enters Roman numerals 2. Now if you select it, double click, select it, right click, and go to this particular setting, format page numbers. From here you can change the kind of number you want. So for example, if I wanted this, I can do that. But right now I'm going to stick with capital Roman numerals. Okay. Also, as you may have noticed, it starts from page number 2. I wanted to start from page number 1, but this is page number 1. Again, so because there is a section break right here, I can double click it on again, format page number, start at 1, and I can have any arbitrary number that I want. Even though it's the second page, if I want, I can have it say 10, and there you go, it's 10, even though it's the second page. So let's correct it. I'll make it 1, and we have page number 1 here. Now because we have inserted section break, the fact that I inserted a page number here would have no bearing on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat the whole process, top of the page, just like that. And now it automatically takes up page number 2. So that works out in my favor. I'm going to write index of authorities once again. Move on to the next page now. Statement of jurisdiction. Again, because there is a section break here, the page number did not get automatically updated. And there is page number 3. Now I'm not going to waste time writing statement of jurisdiction again. Let's move on to the next page. Again, just like that, top of page, plain page number 3, and page number 4. You'll have to manually check because Word is only so good. So you'll have to check, manually check that the page number are correct. Sometimes it messes it up. So here. So now what is happening here is that we have 2 different kinds of page numbers. This is something you do not want to appear on your final memo. It looks very unprofessional. So we're just gonna format it to look like normal. And also, as you might have noticed, there's a difference in the style of writing the header as well. But I'd expect you guys to be able to do that much. Now, if you're wondering how to get this particular underline here, to do that, all you need to do is select this particular line, go to home, click this particular borders and shading, go to borders and shading, apply whatever style you want to. Let's say I want it to become 6 points and ugly. Now, what you need to make sure is you apply to paragraph. Okay. Just like that, it would update. Okay. Next. So this is statement of issues, nothing to look here. Now, summary of arguments, for some reason, it has taken up the page numbering that we'd want from arguments advanced. So we're just gonna reset that. Format page number, click here, start at, it should be 6 if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So just like that, 6. And so for example, here, I did not have to manually enter 7 because there was no section break. So Word automatically updated the page numbers here. Now, moving on, we have arguments advanced. So here, because this particular page has a section break, we can have different page numbering here. And all you need to do is go to page number, top of page, or bottom of page if you're inserting the page numbers in footer. Top of page, select For example, I want to do this one. So just like that. And again, I can have it start at whatever number I want and have it in whatever format I want. But I'm not going to do that because we'll have it as one. Okay. So again, now because arguments advanced is a continuous section and there is no section break in between, the page number automatically get updated. 3, 4. Though it is good practice to always ensure that Word hasn't messed it up, because Word will never fail to surprise you. Now, so at the end of the memo, you'd want the prayer, because prayer page is not related to arguments, you'd probably want it to look like other pages like this. So now you have to manually, so this is the last thing that you do, so that there are no more changes that you're going to make which will affect the page numbers. This is the absolute last thing that you do. And then you just have to ensure. So for example, I know I see that the page number 7 is the last before starting arguments advanced. So I'm gonna go to prayer, and this is where the manually start at comes really handy. So now I'm just gonna click on 8, and there you go, it is page 8. And I'm just going to check it once to ensure that I am hit the correct page number, and yes, so that would be it. And okay, so I guess that's it. There are no other things that I'd like to discuss. If there are any questions, please go ahead. Is there a way to reduce the burden of converting each footnote in a specified format, for example, Blue Book? No. So that is something that you'll have to do manually, or because even the format painter will not be able to help you here. And plus the formatting, plus the format of the footnote changes very much depending on the kind of footnote. So for example, if it's a book that you're citing, even the character style is going to change. Something has to be capital, something has to be italic. That is something you'll have to check. And the best advice is just search, for example, if you want to make it Blue Book 19th edition, just Google Blue Book 19th edition. You'll find some colleges document that they hosted during their meet that will tell you how exactly the particular format is supposed to be on varying types of footnotes, all like cases, books, newspaper reports, all. So yeah, that is something you have to manually do. I hope that answers your question. Next, any question?
Hi, sir, I'm Akshat. I have a doubt.
Anji?
Yeah, sir, इसमें जो styles वाला जो ऊपर heading है, if we modify it according to our needs, now what happens is we cannot get a particular list level in that. So how can we do that? Like, for example, if we select heading 3 and we are putting the 1.1 and 1.2 level, list level of 1.1 and 1.2 in that. So how can we do that?
I'm sorry, I cannot understand your question.
So for example, if I take that, like this line that the petitioner has locus standi to file the writ, and if I put my cursor over there and select heading 3, so it should change to 1.1, 1.2 like that. So how can we do that? Because if you right click on the heading 3 and go to modify, then you will find that in the format section you can only find what type of number do you want, but you cannot change the list level. So can you do something about that? Like, can we change the list level with that?
Yeah, so personally what I'll do is I'll remove the number, update heading, and then I'll manually do that. As long
And
as
sir, while sorry, you can go ahead.
so as long as the number is not inserted into the heading style, you will be able to avoid that particular issue, because it lets you have whatever arbitrary number. Even if I like want 2.4 here, 25.4 here, I can have it. But if you do that and then you update it, it sometimes it causes problems.
Okay. And sir, when we insert the table of contents, at that point in time, like it does not fit into the table of content correctly. So what can be done with regards to that?
What do you mean it does not fit?
Sir, because like if we like how can we modify the headings in such a way that when we uh, move it in the paragraphs, so that should, I don't know how it happens in my laptop, but when I select the particular like the sub issues and put them in 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, when I update the table, it does not appear in the table like that.
I don't know how that is happening to your laptop. I mean, it just works for me. I mean, this is the first time I've heard something like that. But there are two options here. Make sure that you're not only clicking on update page numbers only. You have to click on update entire table. So for example, earlier 1.3 was not showing up, if you might have noticed. I manually went there, I inserted 1.3. And what happens is sometimes when you just single click on it, it might not even show this window. It will just automatically update page numbers only. So at that point of time, you'll have to click it again. So this whole pop-up shows and you have to click on update entire table. I think that should solve your problem, because if you're not updating the entire table, this is what happens.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Any more questions?
If there's any more questions that you have, you can actually open your microphones and ask us.
Guys, no need
Otherwise-
to type.
Exactly. Don't like waste your time typing the question. I mean, because if there are no questions, I'll understand that okay, everyone has understood deformatting. That's it. All right, we'll wait for 30 more seconds. If there aren't any questions, in that case, we'll move forward to close the session. I think, Karthik, there aren't any questions. I've understood like pretty well.
Okay.
So, all right, I mean, then we expect good formatting from you guys from now on.
Okay then.
It was
Okay. Thank you guys for having me.
thank you, Karthik, for taking out time for this session. And also, it was actually really helpful. I mean, few of the doubts even I had, such as how to remove the mark citation. That is
Acha.
something that I learned. Yeah, I mean, despite all these years.
Okay, that's good to hear, man.
Thank you, Karthik, and thank you everyone for attending the session.
Thanks,
I
guys.
hope you all understood it. So, all right, we'll be ending the session now. Request the MC admin or Yash Dayal to end the session.